Next, I recognize gentlelady from Connecticut, Ms. Elizabeth Esty, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I appreciate the opportunity to testify today on the fiscal 2015 budget resolution. As this committee prepares the House budget, I'm here to highlight the priorities for the people I represent in Connecticut's 5th District, priorities that will grow our economy and create more good-paying jobs. First of all, I would like to applaud President Obama for his decision not to include chained CPI for Social Security benefits in this budget proposal this year. More than 125,000 seniors across Central and Northwest Connecticut have earned these benefits through lifetimes of hard work. I let the President know that changes like shifting the COLA to chained CPI don't accurately reflect the reality of the rising costs that seniors face. Mr. Chairman, this year's budget must honor our commitments to our seniors and preserve and strengthen Social Security and Medicare, not only for current but for future generations. And as this tough winter that seems never to end with a polar vortex and in fact snow today here in Washington, I am reminded that on one of the coldest nights in January, a woman came to my Congress on Your Corner in Bethel, Connecticut. She came in tears because she could not afford to pay her heating bills for her house, and she did not know where else to turn, her unemployment benefits having expired. Many Connecticut families rely on home heating oil and are still recovering from the recession. And programs like LIHEAP, the Low Income Heating Energy Assistance Program, currently serve around 120,000 households in Connecticut. And frankly, I'm disappointed by the President's proposal to cut LIHEAP by 20%. We need to work together, Republicans and Democrats, to fully fund LIHEAP. As a member of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, I also want to emphasize the need to increase investments in rebuilding our nation's aging infrastructure, which will create good-paying jobs. This should not be a partisan issue to make sure that our train service is safe and reliable, that our bridges are structurally sound, and that our highways are well maintained. All of this is critical to supporting a growing economy and to put people back to work. Mr. Chairman, since the fatal accidents and service delays last year on Metro North's commuter railroad, I called for a hearing to examine rail safety. And when the Rail Subcommittee held the hearings, testimony made it very clear that Congress needs to step up and support rail funding. We can start by funding the Federal Railroad Administration at President Obama's request of $825 million. Now, more recently, the Federal Railroad Administration released a very troubling report about Metro North. Their findings reinforce that, among other issues, there is and has been a dramatic and systematic failure on our part as lawmakers to prioritize the nation's infrastructure. Budgets are a reflection of our priorities, and there is blame to be shared by Congress. It is time to boost our infrastructure in investments in maintaining our infrastructure, our rail infrastructure, to make sure that our commuters and their families have safe, reliable, and efficient train service. Mr. Chairman, I'm also extremely concerned by the dwindling Highway Trust Fund. Current projections estimate that the trust fund will run out of money this August, which could affect contracts and jobs as early as later this spring. That is a serious threat to our competitiveness and can affect our economic growth right now. States have committed critical resources to advance important road improvement projects with the understanding that the federal government would be there. Government needs to deal with the Highway Trust, this Congress needs to deal with the Highway Trust Fund in a responsible, bipartisan fashion to ensure that fund's solvency and to maximize the potential for sustaining and creating jobs. People in Washington all too often talk about transportation and infrastructure projects as short-term jobs programs. But in reality, these are investments which are more important, in fact, essential for the jobs of the future, not just the jobs of today. We cannot be competitive in a global economy with a second-rate transportation system. We need first-rate transportation and a 21st century infrastructure. And that, again, should not be a partisan issue. I've been working closely on the Science Committee with Republicans to ensure that our workers have the skills they need to be prepared for the jobs that we have right now and the jobs of the future. Congress needs to support enhanced workforce development efforts and internship and partnership programs, apprenticeship programs for our young people to learn side by side with aging workers in my district and across this country, and certainly, Mr. Chairman, in your district as well, as we share manufacturing districts. Let's strengthen our investments in Job Corps, in the Manufacturing Enhancement Partnership, and renew our commitment to veterans, to our servicemen and women coming home from battle, by ensuring that their skills learned in the military can translate appropriately and rapidly to civilian jobs that are going begging right now in this economy. Mr. Chairman, again, budgets are a reflection of our priorities, and the list of the programs I've just highlighted certainly make that clear. It's not a complete list, but it is a start. Before I leave, I would like to follow up on your remarks about savings. Where can we cut? I think we need to end some of those wasteful subsidies for big oil and big agriculture. That makes common sense, and we need to ensure that the wealthiest are paying their fair share. My constituents and yours deserve predictability and accountability and responsibility from this Congress. Congress needs to do its job. Let's pass a budget that reflects our priorities and our values as Americans. Let's work together to support pro-growth strategies for jobs now and in the future. I thank you for your time, and with that, I reserve any balance I have.
You don't, and I thank the gentlelady. Questions from the committee?
I just want to say thank you for your advocacy on not only the highway fund, but on Metro North and rail funding and the $825 million. You've been a strong advocate for your area on this since I've had a chance to know you in this session. And I share your happiness that the CPI, chain CPI provision isn't included. And again, it's another issue that you took a leadership role on. So thank you for that.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Thank you.